You are now tuned in to Go Time Dolphins with Charlie Touche and Kadeem Simmons, the Miami Dolphins podcast that's for the fans and by the fans.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. Go. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Go. Don't waste no time.
I feel like I'm outnumbered this week. Not only are there two Charlies on the podcast, but also two UFC fans. So before we really delve into, Miami Dolphins draft and all that kind of stuff, question for both of you, and I'll ask host Charlie first and then, guest Charlie. So host Charlie, if you had 6 months training to fight a UFC fighter at your weight, I don't know what your weight is. I don't know, any names, but a UFC fighter at your weight in one round, could you successfully take him down once and or land 3 strikes? So you got 6 months training, your weight, either 1 takedown or 3 successful strikes.
6 months training, my weight, I either have to take them down once in 5 minutes or I have to have 6 successful strikes in 5 minutes. Accurate?
Right. I said 1 round. I didn't say championship round. What makes you think you've had 6 months training? You don't need 5 minutes. You get 3 minutes.
That's not. Boxing is 3 minutes. UFC is 5 minutes.
Oh, my bad. See,
you see what I'm saying?
I know what UFC. My bad. Apologies.
It's 3 5-minute rounds. So.
Oh yeah, and then 5-minute round for championship fights. Yeah.
And we got to make sure we get you closer to the mic, Kadeem. We can't have no mishaps this week. A little bit closer.
Do I have to do my boys men voice again?
There you go, bro. This guy. So I'm gonna answer the question. So how about this? I believe I could do that right now. 5 successful strikes. I'm listen. Look. I believe if I fought someone in the UFC, I could get 5 successful strikes right now. A takedown is a stretch. That's a super stretch. But 5 successful strikes, bro. My hand's pretty nice, man. Like, listen, I'm telling you, my hand's pretty nice. Like Javon Holland, I already know my feet nice because I told him I'll leave him at the line. You know what I'm saying?
I was just about to say, yeah. So right now, Charlie Touche right now can not only route up Javon Holland, the 3rd best safety in the NFL,
right,
but can also successfully strike a UFC fighter. Is that what you're saying right now? But this is the same guy who every time he plays sports gets injured. Listen, I'm telling you now, yeah.
Oh no, man,
you will get knocked out.
Listen,
you will get knocked out Friday.
No, that wasn't the question. The question was, will I successfully land 6 strikes? I might get knocked out, but not until I land them successful 6 strikes. I'm just telling you, man. I'm an athlete. I'm a whole athlete out here, bro. Hey, it's Go Time Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins podcast that goes not only across the pond, but across the world. I'm Charlie Touche. I got my co-host Kadeem Simmons with me, and we got another guest on the show. I'm going to just call him Charlie, but his last name is Wilson. Like, listen, like, you got to know that the song Charlie Wilson, like the artist Charlie Wilson was going to come up, bro. Like, first name Charlie, last name Wilson, bro.
How you doing? My name is Charlie. Last name Wilson.
Let's go, man. You know, hey, when Kadeem told me, yeah, my boy Charlie coming on, I like, Charlie who? He like, Wilson. I said, Charlie. His last name's Wilson. Like, it was not even. I couldn't even. It came out just like that. Yep. Like, it was. What's up, man? Look, bro. Tell them who you are. Tell everyone where they can find you and what it is that you do, bro.
Yeah, so I'm a colleagues with Kadeem, Rich PLC. I'm a UFC, football, and boxing reporter. Been an NFL fan for 12, 15 years now. Been writing about the draft for a long time. Yeah, everything's sport. I sort of cover those four that I just mentioned, and you can find me at Charlie Reach PLC.
Hey, listen, we're gonna tell y'all like this. If you're looking on the YouTube version right now, if you're on YouTube, share, like, and subscribe. We appreciate you. But you'll notice that my setting is a little bit different today. I am in Texas, South Texas. I drove from Miami to South Texas to come see some family. And full disclaimer, there's some cartoons on right now because I got my nephews and nieces running around soon. And full disclaimer, we will get interrupted today. Now you're gonna hear the nephews and nieces today. So I don't want to hear, what's going on in this guy's background. Like, you could probably hear cartoons that I can't find a remote because they did something with it. You feel me? So yeah, we a family show today here on Go Time Dolphins. What's up, Kadeem? What you got?
Yeah, I'm all good. We need to hear what Mr. Charlie Wilson, whether he can successfully take down a UFC fighter. Listen, Charlie, like, I'm telling you now, you can't. Like, do you know the Kevin Hart sketch? Where I can't remember who's fighting who, but just like that, just that would be you. Literally, you would go for one punch and you'll be flat out.
Which Charlie you talking to, bro?
I'm talking to you, Charlie. Like, I haven't heard. Bro. Listen, I haven't heard Charlie Wilson. I haven't heard Charlie Wilson's response yet. But Charlie Touche, you as you literally, like, left or right hand, it doesn't matter. As that arm moves forward, it's fight over. Knocked out.
This is why, Kadeem, you're gonna lose your PS5 because you have underestimated my athletic abilities, bro. Like,
it's a UFC fighter.
Hey, we got a guess, man. Hey, Charlie, can you answer this man's question? What do you think? So turns out you're a UFC fan. I had no idea.
Yes, I'm a UFC reporter. I've covered most big events. I'm lucky enough to go to UFC London in 2 weeks. Can't wait to cover that. It's going to be a great night. Do I have to answer the question about if I could land punches on a UFC fighter? Do you really want
6 strikes? 6. It doesn't have to be punches. Just 6 strikes.
Guys, I'm 260, 6'1". I would have to fight a heavyweight. There's no way. If I land one, yeah, great. He's going to land on me straight away, and I'm out. There's no way I land 6 punches. No way. What are you talking about? And Charlie Touche, I appreciate your confidence. I like your confidence.
Yeah.
I think you're reaching a little bit.
See, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. You said you hit it on the head. You're a heavyweight. That's a little different ball game, bro. Like, the strikes come down, it's less volume, and the heavier punches and kicks. That sucks for you, bro. Like, you're a heavyweight. God has blessed me to be a featherweight, bro. You know what I'm saying? So it's more punches, more strikes, high volume, and you got to make sure your gas tank is in place. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, matter of fact, Kadeem, I'll take it a whole. You ready for this, Kadeem? I think I could make it out the first round. Right now, I could make it out the first round against somebody in the UFC, let alone 6 months. I might do some damage in 6 months. But look, back to Go Time Dolphins. So Kadeem got the drops on deck. Okay, so this is what
you are not making it out of the first round. Listen, the only way you make it out of the first round is if you make it out on a stretcher because your leg's broken. I'm telling you now, you are not doing it. Not at all.
Charlie, whoever you fight will chop your legs to bits. He will try to take you down at the first attempt. And once he takes you down, you will struggle to get back up. These guys have been wrestling every day for years.
That's why I said strike, because I understand my wrestling is not it. All right. And this is a football podcast. So we're gonna get to it. But I got a UFC, like, I got a UFC guest, like, bro. I could talk UFC all day, bro. Like,
anytime.
Little did they know, Go Time MMA is on the way, bro. Like, little did they know, we out here, man.
Hey, that's me and you, Charlie. That's mine and your podcast.
Charlie and Charlie, Go Time MMA. But y'all not saying nothing, man. All right, look. We'll say the rest for bonus time. But you know that the show is coming up in London. I like Hooker over Arnold, by the way.
Okay. Yeah, you have to agree. Dan Hooker's a legend of the sport. Big fight for Arnold. A big fight to vault himself to the next level. It's a big step, though. So again, one I'm really looking forward to.
I wish Darren Till could have made the card.
Yeah,
he probably has the best walkout in the UFC.
Oh, well, you say that. I actually spoke to Paddy Pimblett.
Yeah.
He's fighting him, and he told me he's going to have the best entrance in UFC history.
I don't know if that's possible, bro.
Conor McGregor at UFC 205 at New York. I run New York, I get money. Ooh.
All right, so we're gonna get into the Dolphin stuff real quick, but I gotta do this UFC thing. Listen. Conor McGregor has one of the best walkouts. I would say Darren Till has one of the best walkouts. That's Sweet Caroline. And then I gotta say when Conor fought Nate Diaz, and Nate came out with Tupac. Oh my goodness, bro! Like, look, there's some good walkouts though. There's a lot of good walkouts. But I got to give it to Darren Till. I wish he was on the card. We already know why. Well, we believe we know why Leon Edwards isn't on the card. And hopefully he gets that title shot, man. But let's save that for bonus time before we lose a couple of listeners. Like, yo, we 10 minutes in and we ain't talking nothing about what's going on in the football world, man. Where you want to start, Kadeem?
Well, given that we've just had the combine and we have seen some freak athletes, like it's ridiculous. I'll ask you what your 40 time is going to be. You know, like we will get to all that, but you know, my conversations with Charlie Wilson over the past few months, I guess, have been, you know, draft centric. And once, you know, I realized, you know, he's got his own draft blog, which he can plug very, very shortly. To me, it made perfect sense for him to come on here and talk about, you know, what the Dolphins should be doing at pick 29. But not just that, you know, we had a discussion about the Dolphins' offensive line and, you know, be it first round, second round, all that kind of stuff. So, you know, instead of me saying all this, Charlie, what do you think we should be doing? I say the Dolphins should be doing at pick 29, and where's the value in the offensive line class this year?
Guard is very strong this year. Tackle, I have quite a lot of worries this year, to be honest, but I think there's a lot of free agents who the Dolphins can look at. Two in particular from my Seattle Seahawks. Dwayne Brown and Brandon Shell are two good veteran, cheap tackles who Dolphins can look at. I watched a few Dolphins games recently. You guys run a lot of RPOs. RPOs are predicated on getting the ball out quickly, which masks your offensive line being bad. With the Dolphins, you can still see them being beaten so quickly, even in these RPOs. I mean, I think this Dolphins team might have the worst offensive line I've ever seen. I'm not sure what you guys think about that. Robert Hunt, the right guard, is he the right guard, Robert Hunt?
Yeah.
He's the only one who you can think he's probably got a future in this league. And I really mean that. The rest, Austin Jackson, I remember covering that draft, and I think he was never, ever a first-round pick. Never, ever. Stuck in the mud, slow, can't pass protect. Bad film. It's one of those guys who you think, okay, you could be something if everything goes right. It hasn't gone right, and that's been a bad pick. The guy he drafted last year, Liam Eichenberg, yeah. Liam Eichenberg, okay, not nothing special. Again at college, short arms, stuck in the mud. Doesn't have the measurables to show, okay, guys like him have done it before at tackle, but we just haven't seen that. The Dolphins have had a lot of these picks where you're thinking, what are you doing with that draft pick? And like you say, at pick 29, there's a lot of good. There will be a lot of good guards and centers, maybe not tackles, but there's a lot of options for him to go at. I mean, I'm not sure if you guys would be interested, but you could trade that pick. I'm not sure if that's something that you would consider.
It's interesting that you said that about Austin Jackson, because Kadeem is on the record saying in the 2020 draft, every pick he felt like we could have got at our next pick. We had three first round picks in that draft, and at 18 we picked Austin Jackson, and Kadeem felt like, man, he could have been there at 29. At 29 we picked Noah Igbenogany, and Kadeem felt like, man, he could have been there in the 30s. You know what I'm saying? So, and then Robert Hunt, another pick that we converted to tackle and then put him back at his natural position in guard where he's performing. So, and then you can argue Robert Hunt, I don't want to say he could have been at 50. I think it was 50, 51, 52, somewhere where we picked Raekwon Davis. But Kadeem was spot on, mate, when he said, you know, we could have moved back. Every pick that we picked in that draft, you could have got at your respectfully the next pick coming up.
Yeah.
But Bill Parcells. I mentioned Bill Parcells a lot on this podcast, and he says if he's your guy, he's your guy. It doesn't matter where you get him. If you got him one spot too soon, is if he hits, he hits. But we haven't been successful as successful as we would like to be.
Yep.
But that's definitely something to discuss.
So can I ask, what do you guys think is your biggest need? Do you think it's guard or tackle?
I believe our biggest need is a right tackle because Eichenberg plays left guard naturally, left tackle. I'm sorry, left tackle naturally, and Austin Jackson plays left tackle as well. And Austin Jackson's first season was not terrible. He regressed in his second season, so I don't mind them two going at it at left tackle. And we have a guard in Solomon Kinley, but we have a fixture in Robert Hunt. So now my thing is, you still don't have anything at all whatsoever at right tackle. So I am not opposed to having what I mentioned on this draft was the double dip, which is go right tackle in free agency and then go right tackle again in the draft. So now you'll be extremely deep. You have right tackle covered. If here's something that I haven't mentioned yet. I haven't mentioned this yet. But the Dolphins and the Eagles are trade partners forever and ever. Amen. Like Jay Ajayi went to the Eagles this past season. We traded with the Eagles to for the what was the Jalen Waddle coming back up, right? So the Dolphins, and then even before that, Kiko Alonso.
Yep. For
right?
LaShawn, was that LaShawn McCoy trade?
No, that was the Byron Maxwell trade. So the Dolphins and the Eagles, they work. Now the Eagles have 15, 16, and 19 in the first round. If the Eagles are smart, they'll know that Jalen Hurts is not their quarterback. But we'll see how smart they really are. And what they can do is trade to the next draft in 2023 and have multiple picks in that draft and get their franchise quarterback. So it sets it up where the Dolphins can trade up to 15, 16, or 19 and hopefully get the center Linderbaum. And then that'll be a big money move. And I would not mind that at all. But right tackle, to answer your question, is our biggest need, in my opinion.
Yeah. My thing with Linderbaum, good, really good player. What probably will be a 10-year starter. I don't see him as the explosive athlete, which a lot of the centers who go on to have good careers is. He didn't test very well. He's got very short arms. He opens himself up to getting bull rushed quite a lot. He will be good in pass pro. I worry about him in run blocking, though. I don't know. I just said he'll get mauled in bull rushing, but he's a good pass pro. Besides that, run blocking, not sure. I think his tape is very inconsistent. Guards, however, we're talking around that 10 to 20 area. If Dolphins won't move into there, there's a lot of great value there.
So yeah, it's interesting. The moment that first round pick started looking, like mid to late 20s, I was like, just trade it. Like there's no point. I joked on this show that if the Dolphins do that, it means I'm not up at 5 a.m. recording the podcast. Like I'm just not doing that. And yeah, I just think, we've spoken on this podcast. I'm sure, both Charlies will agree that the Dolphins I want to say recent memory because that's my memory. It probably goes back a lot further than that. They just don't draft, offensive linemen well. Outside of Laramie Tunsil, who is currently in, Houston, Texas, they just don't draft well. So what's the point of, even if they, move up and draft Linderbaum in the teams, it would be so Dolphin for him to just not pan out and then go elsewhere and be absolutely amazing. So yeah,
I personally, just to bump in Kadeem, I don't see the value in trading up to get Linderbaum at 15 than I would rather wait for a guard at 29. I know you say you're skeptical about people dropping that late in the draft, and yeah, they could absolutely go higher. But there's a lot of guards in this draft who I think have been really underrated. You look at Zion Johnson from Boston College, maul, explosive guy, gets off a ball, punches people in the face. Kenyon Green from Texas A&M moves so well for a 325-pounder. He started every season, every position except for center. Really versatile player. There's a lot of these players who will not go in the first 20, but will be there for 29. I'm very confident about it. I see why you'd want to trade up and get a sure thing in Linderbaum. But I think the risk is a lot bigger than what we all think.
You know, there's some news that came out recently because the Dolphins have multiple needs. We don't just have offensive line trouble. We have offensive explosiveness trouble. So our receivers are not feared at all in the league. We just got Jalen Waddle. Everybody said, "Oh, what is Tua doing?" And then Tua got Waddle, and look what they did. So why wouldn't you put more firepower around that? And someone that we've talked about a lot on this podcast, well, not a lot on this podcast, but in the Dolphin community, is Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley has now been like just got into the news for all kind of purposes. I'm sure we'll discuss later on during the podcast. But since Calvin Ridley is no longer in the discussion to come to Miami as of right now, who are some of the receivers you see, Charlie, in the draft that you think Miami can target, whether it's first round, second round, third round, or even late?
I think if you're thinking about a wide receiver at 29, I don't think you'll get any wide receiver in the draft. I think you look at the Seattle Seahawks and trade for DK Metcalf.
DK.
Mm-hmm. I think Seattle should trade him after the Russell Wilson news today. DK is going to want a big contract, and he deserves it, to be honest. DK is a phenomenal player who is used incorrectly by Seattle. You pair him with Jalen Waddle on the outside. That's speed at both ends. You put Mike Gesicki at its tight end. That's a beautiful trio of pass catchers. And it may cost more than a first. It may cost a first and a second, maybe a first and a third. I think that's worth it. I think that's worth looking into. I'm not sure if you guys want to touch on that.
What do you think, Kadeem?
I think we got a Seahawks fan who's still emotional about losing Russell Wilson, and he's trying to get as many picks as possible. No, listen, I know a lot of Dolphins fans literally after that Wilson trade were like, "Go and get Metcalf," and I think a few reporters have said that the Seahawks might be open to trading him. Trading for DK Metcalf.
You have to pay him probably at least $22 million, which is a lot of money.
And you have to trade an asset for him.
Or you could look at the draft. I don't mind talking about some of these prospects in a second, but I'll let you answer, Kadeem.
Well, look, again, it's funny. It's funny you said that though, because a lot of people, again, on social media have asked that exact question: do the Dolphins trade for a wide receiver at 29, or draft someone? I'm gonna go draft, and I know it's gonna contradict what I've said in previous episodes, but given we've seen Mike Gesicki being tagged, and it looks like they're gonna let Emmanuel Ogbah test free agency, to me, all money this offseason has to go towards offensive line. And wide receiver isn't that much of a need where I'm paying someone $22 million. So when I've currently still got, Jesse Davis at right tackle, and the offensive line is still like Swiss cheese, which, as Charlie likes to remind everyone, I only recently found out is actually from Switzerland. So
you found out that Swiss cheese is from Switzerland.
So I was like, I assume it's from Switzerland, but you just never know. Like maybe it was from somewhere else. And,
I'll leave that one.
This guy. Hey, that was a GIF, bro. Charlie hit us with the GIF face, like what's going on here?
Oh, which actually reminds me. So I guess like Charlie says GIF, I say GIF, but Charlie Touche, can you say Scunthorpe?
First of all, I say GIF as well, but I wanted just to differentiate so he understood exactly what I was saying. But can you repeat the word one more time?
Scunthorpe.
Can you use it in a sentence?
Where I'm from.
Yeah. Charlie Wilson is from Scunthorpe.
Scunfork.
Now, do you know what?
Scunfork.
I'm gonna say that's me and the way I've said it, which is why Charlie said it incorrectly. So Charlie Wilson, if you pronounce it correctly, so I'm gonna give him a mulligan on that one and say that's on me. So Charlie Wilson, say where you're from and see if Charlie Touche can, repeat it back.
So I've got a very dodgy North English accent, unlike Kadeem's beautiful Southern English accent. Mine's very rugged and raw. But it's called Scunthorpe.
Scunthorpe.
There you go.
Scunthorpe, mate.
Yeah,
Hey.
there you go.
Hey, hey, bruv. Listen, hold up. So there's a city in London. Well, I guess not in London, but there's a city around London, I guess I would say.
I say a town.
There you go. Shout out to the resident Londoner on the podcast. So there's a town in England around London, I guess. And it's spelled Southwark. But I've heard it's pronounced Suffolk. How does that work?
I thought you was going to say Reading, because it's spelt like reading, but you say Reading. There's a lot of those places in England where it sounds like it's not spelt as it sounds. We're a weird country.
Hey, back to the receivers you like coming out in the draft. Give me a couple of
receivers I like coming out of the draft. Number one for me, everyone is talking about Garrett Wilson. For me, it's not the number one receiver. It's Drake London. I think this guy's the second coming of Brandon Marshall. He's dominant wide receiver one. Big frame, loose hips, athletic, huge catch radius. He's not a quick guy like Brandon Marshall wasn't, but he's going to be a touchdown machine. He's the guy you throw it up to and you say make a play, and he does it time and time again. If you're looking for a speed receiver, which I usually prefer over the bigger receivers, I just think Drake London is special. Jameson Williams from Alabama, he might be next to Sean Jackson, and he's 6'2", and he can fly. If he ran in the 40s, you're looking at a 4.2, maybe a 4.24 guy. He's that fast. And the one who I think has the highest ceiling but the lowest floor is a guy called Chris Olavey from Ohio State. He might be the next Stephon Diggs. Beautiful route runner. Gets it in and out his breaks quickly. Those sort of route running skills, they translate to the NFL instantly. You look at someone like Jerry Jeudy, who has a terrible quarterback play, but he just gets open every single play because of his route running. Guys like Hunter Renfrow, who is about as fast as me, gets open every play because of his route running. Route runners will always do well in the NFL, and Chris Olave. And also, he ran a 4.3. He doesn't look like a fast guy on tape. It's one of those where it's like, you ran a 4.3? And you got route running skills?
I'm curious, bro. In my high school days, how fast do you think I ran the 40? High school days.
I'm almost surprised you completed the 40 and didn't twist your ankle and fall over, and I'm just saying, because obviously we've heard this guy. Well, Charlie Wilson hasn't heard the story.
No.
No,
I'm gonna tell him the story. You want to hear the story? I got the story for you. So I'm a multi-sport athlete, or I was once upon a time a multi-sport athlete. Pretty nice in football. I didn't have the frame for football, but I love football over all the sports. Did a little 1-2, you know what I'm saying? Did a little boxing. You don't play fighting, you fight. You feel me? So I boxed a little bit. That's why I think I could get 6 strikes on the UFC right now. Featherweight. Don't give me no top 15 though. I ain't gonna lie to you. Give me somebody that's not ranked. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, hey, wipe that look off your face, Kadeem. But here was my sport. I was real good in baseball. Straight up. I was on all kind of all-star teams, all kind of travel teams. And there's one particular team, one of the teams that won the championships, because there's multiple. Kadeem don't want to put that out there. But this team that won the championship, we lost the season before this season to the same team we're playing in the season I'm telling you about. And we're in the semifinals, and I came off the bench. I pitch ran. It's a 0-0 game. Kadeem will highlight, well, why were you on the bench, Charlie? I'm like, it's an all-star. It's all kind of all-stars on this team, bro. We nice. We nice like that. So, it's 0-0. You know what I'm saying? We lost to this team in the semifinals of last year, and I'm coming off the bench. I get on the bag. You know what I'm saying? I put my my cleats in the dirt. You know what I'm saying? The whole stadium knows he's going. They know he's gonna steal. We already know this guy's gonna steal. They throw back to the bag 7 times, bro. I dive all 7 times. Safe. Dust off.
Okay.
Dust off. You feel me? All 7 times. First pitch to the plate. I'm gone. I'm out of here. Gling, 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 gling. Gling, 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 gling. So I'm still in second. You feel me? And the second baseman kind of interfered with me, trying to slow me down and impede my progress. But I dive. You know what I'm saying? Like, woo, I'm in there. I slide over the bag. I keep my foot on the bag. Call timeout. The crowd goes wild. I dust myself off. I look at coach. Coach pointing at me. I'm pointing at coach. You feel me? I get up and I notice my fingers hanging off. Like my pinky finger was broken and dislocated. It got caught under the bag when I went over. And it was just hanging off. They took me to the hospital. I didn't complete the game. However, the guy who came in for me scored the only run of the game. So that was my run that won the semifinal, and we ended up winning the championship. So it's like, yo, no. Because
all of a sudden now, you said the guy that came in for you, won the game.
Scored the only run of the game.
And then you said that you scored the only run of the game. Both things can't be true.
No, I didn't say I scored the only run of the game.
What did you say after them?
The guy that came in for me scored the only run of the game. So it's because I stole that bag that we won the semifinal, bro. Hey, you can't take away from me, bro.
Of course I can, because you were in the hospital. You weren't there.
Bro, it was 0-0 before I came in the game. I stole the bag, bro, and the person who came in for me scored the only run of the game off of my stolen base.
As the Go Time Dolphins fans know, I am bad at fantasy football, yeah? I'm awful. But that's like Jalen Waddle getting a 98-yard reception, getting stopped at the 2, and then Duke Johnson running it in, and Jalen Waddle go, those are my points. No, it's not. They're Duke Johnson's points. Listen, you did not secure the run. You got what? How many yards you went? It doesn't matter how many yards you went. You didn't cross home plate. You didn't score the run. You're injury prone. So going back to the initial point, I'm surprised you even finished the 40. How fast you run it? I'm gonna go 5.6 seconds.
No.
5.6. What's wrong with this guy? Do you see what I gotta put up with, Charlie, bro?
I run a 5.3, and I'm too.
You feel, hey, bro? Listen. The day we get Jalen Waddle on this show, Kadeem, I'm gonna tell him, hey, Jalen. Kadeem says if you go for 98 yards and come up short and don't score that touchdown, you're not getting no credit. I'm gonna tell him that, bro. I'm gonna tell him that.
Go on then. I'm still waiting for Shaq Lawson to come on the show, and you can tell him I once called him fat. That's what I'm waiting for.
You call him fat, bro.
You're gonna throw me under the bus. Fat,
Dog is like 8% body fat, and you call Shaq Lawson fat, 8% body fat.
Listen,
what you call him, a tub of lard? That's what you call him?
Oh, Kadeem, man.
Dog, this is how we treat our Dolphin players.
Listen, we are getting so sidetracked right now. Mr. Charlie Wilson, back to your wide receivers.
So yeah, the 3 that I mentioned for me are the best 3 by far. Maybe the only one that I feel good about in the first round. If you'd taken any more at 29, I'd be like, there are some good ones. Garrett Wilson from Ohio State, Treylon Burks from Arkansas. Again, though, the wide receivers didn't test well at the combine, and I'm not a big fan of overreacting to the combine, as a lot of people are. I get it, me and Kadeem are journalists. You've got to react to news happening, but it's getting ridiculous. I mean, did you guys see, just to flip it a little bit, did you guys see Jordan Davis from the 40, the big defensive tackle?
I didn't. Okay,
so this guy was 340. So we can compare this to Charlie Touche's 40 time. This guy, Jordan Davis, is 344 pounds, and he ran a 4.7.
Kadeem, somebody is your size running a 4.7. You hear that?
340 pounds.
I mean, that's Kadeem's like 50 pounds off. But he still ran a 4.7, Kadeem.
See how this guy treats me.
Here we go. This is Jordan Davis. Look at this guy move. Imagine trying to tackle this guy.
Here he goes.
Yeah, that's a big man moving.
It is.
That is a big
2.
moving.
It was changed to 479 in the end.
That's wild.
Yep, £344.
Where does he go? Or
So he's a guy who I think is a late first round pick. I'll put it to you like this: Would you guys right now, if someone like Christian Wilkins was in the draft, is that his name? Clemson guy?
Yep.
If he was in the draft right now, would you take him 5 overall?
No. Kadeem might.
Right. Again,
Kadeem's the Christian Wilkins. Like he's. Go ahead, man. Kadeem might. I might not. I won't. But go ahead.
So my thinking is, would you draft a defensive tackle who plays the run beautifully? Can only play 2 downs. You can't keep it on a 3rd down. He'll do nothing in pass rush. He will play 50% of the snaps because he's too big. He can't play all the snaps. He gets tired. Big guys get tired. And he offers you very little pass rush. To me, great player. Really great defensive tackle. He might be a 10-time Pro Bowler. He's that good. He might be a Hall of Famer. I still wouldn't draft him top 10 overall, even if it's a Hall of Famer. He's that good, but he can't rush a passer. He can't play 3rd down. He plays half snaps, and most snaps are only just to stop the run, basically. Would you draft that high? I personally wouldn't.
Go ahead, Kadeem.
Well, no, I was just going to defend myself because Christian Wilkins last season was a top 10 interior defensive lineman, top 10. So I was like, pay the guy, and Charlie was like, no, don't pay him. Why are you paying him? So that's why Charlie was, I'm not gonna say Charlie because there's 2 Charlies. That's why Charlie Touche was sending shots at me. Charlie Wilson, quick question before, although unless Charlie Touche wants to respond to that.
So we got a Charlie to replace Charlie. Now the other Charlie don't even get a chance to say what he want to do at receiver. Like, that's wild, bro. Like, this what we doing, bro? At my own crib, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't even get a say on my own podcast, bro. Like, forget what I keep trying to say the real Charlie, but you the real Charlie too, Charlie. We a real one.
Let's go.
CNC machine. You already CNC machine. This is CNC machine right here. So nah, man. Anyway, Drake London.
It depends what you want. Do you want a speedy guy? Do you want a speedster, or do you want a true wide receiver 1?
So here's where I'm going. I'm gonna take, and at 29, because the Dolphins are at 29.
Yeah,
I'm very interested in David Bell.
Oh,
David Bell is a football player. Mm-hmm. Like, David Bell is the guy when you played on all the football teams growing up, he's the first pick. Like, oh, I want David. I want DB. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want David Bell. You know what I'm saying? And that team's most likely going to win that game. So everywhere he goes, he's a problem, right? A good problem. So I'm very interested in David Bell. And the reason why I'm going a little further back is because it's the 29th pick. I don't think Miami stays there. I have a hard time believing Miami's going to stay at 29 and pick there. I think they're going to move up, or I think they're going to move back. So the other receiver that I'm interested in, John Mechie interests me. I think he's a perfect fit for Miami. But here's the person who I hope, on everything I love, I hope we get this player. Wendell Robinson.
Wow.
Wendell Robinson plays for almost messed up. It could be Memphis or Kentucky. I'm not sure. Not sure. Should have doubled Wendell Robinson. Say that again.
Kentucky.
All right, Kentucky. So Wendell Robinson plays for Kentucky. And if you guys listen to this show, you heard me say, look, Jalen Waddle is our bread and butter, right? So everything you put around Jalen Waddle, whether you go get DJ Chark and then go get whoever you get, on the opposite side of that, and you have Waddle running choice routes in the middle of the field. Wendell Robinson, he can be a strong number 2, but he can also, God forbid, Waddle goes down, he can take Waddle's spot just like that. He's the closest thing, and I don't want to get this confused. I don't want you guys to get confused with this. He is not as big as Deebo Samuel, but he can be used everywhere on the offense. He can be used at running back. He can be used as as anything on offense. So when we like Lynn Bowden here, but this guy is least ahead of Lynn Bowden Jr. in my opinion. So Wendell Robinson is what they call an offensive weapon that you can't even put him at just one position. So I'm very interested in Wendell Robinson. I ran a 4.46 in high school, by the way.
Wow.
4.46. Don't play with me, Kadeem. Like Kadeem, bro. Like I do this, man. Matter of fact, you got a better chance. You got a better chance, Kadeem, of saying I can't run like a 4.6 right now, rather than you lining up against me in football, Kadeem. I'm just telling you that right now, bro. Because I think I could get. I might be able to get 4.7, maybe.
That's faster than Jerry Rice.
Yeah, but he's the GOAT. He did a lot of things better than I did, but I guess I was faster than him. So it's even. We good.
So my thing with Wendell Robinson, real quick. I agree, gadget player. A bit, Lynn Bowden isn't a terrible comp to him, really. The difference between him and Debo is Debo Samuel is an absolute monster. I get why. I see the comparisons a little bit, but the thing is, he's not as fast, nowhere near as fast, and I think he might be used as a slot guy, Wendell Robinson. I don't really see him as an outside receiver.
That's exactly why I think I would like him, because we're gonna lose Albert Wilson, and he takes Albert Wilson's role from day one. And then if Waddle goes down, he's gonna be the go-to slot. But I disagree. I think you can use him on the outside, but if he was used on the outside, he would be used like a William Fuller. You know what I'm saying? So it's if you could coach him up, what do you see with him and everything like that? Since we're on receiver though, we'll just dab a little bit. Amari Cooper is being talked about as being a cap casualty in Dallas. Are you interested, Kadeem?
Yeah. I think yeah. Listen, if you want, I can go now, and you guys can make this as the CNC MMA NFL podcast. Like, I'm sure you guys can sort something out.
I'm telling you, it's the CNC machine, bro.
So machine, wow, so nerdy, and I'm a nerd myself. Charlie Wilson, is Batman a superhero?
Is Batman a superhero?
Yeah.
No.
Hey, it's go time, Dolphins. That's all we have for today. We want to thank Charlie Wilson for coming on the show, bro. Like, I don't know where we found this guy. All the good stuff I said about Charlie Wilson earlier, we could take it all back right now. None of that was I didn't even mean none of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was just trying to be nice. This dude,
I get you.
Like, what?
Listen, but what do superheroes have? What's the one common thing that superheroes have?
You tell me.
Superpowers.
Apart from Iron Man. Next.
Iron Man?
Iron Man has superpowers. He has lasers coming out of his hands. Hawkeye had no superpowers. Green Arrow had no superpowers. Dude, like, come on. This is
the fact that you try to like bring it down to no superpowers is exactly why he's a superhero. Like, who else could jump out of a building, like an 80-story building, and still land on his feet?
That's unrealistic, though, right? If he has no superpowers and he could do that, so that's just bad writing for me.
Okay. But it's also like Charlie running whatever he ran in the 40. That's unrealistic, but it happened allegedly. So,
this guy.
Charlie Touche right now without no training can fight a UFC fighter. But with
I didn't say I could fight one. I said I could get 6 strikes off of one.
No, listen, no.
I can, bro.
You can't.
You didn't say if it was ranked or not, bro. You didn't say who's nice in the featherweight. Hold on. Is it? I could be bantamweight. It's bantamweight. It's bantamweight. I'm bantamweight. Yeah, bro. Like, yo, I get, man. These boys tiny, man. I get 6. I could buy. I'm stretching it out.
Yeah, exactly.
I was about to stretch it out.
So Charlie Wilson, as a Seattle fan,
yeah.
Massive news in Russell Wilson joining Denver. Not just only your thoughts on that, but I saw whatever screenshot it was, and I sent it to you on Twitter. Seattle fans saying, "Go and get Tua." Now I'm not trading you Tua, so don't. So it's not me. I know Charlie isn't, but would you take Tua as a Wilson replacement? And what do the Seahawks do at quarterback? Now, I know this is go time Dolphins, but at the same time, as a guest, speak.
That's cool. I'll talk about Tua for a little bit. So Tua is probably my biggest disappointment of a prospect that I've wanted to do. I thought would do beautiful in the NFL. I do think the injury is a big thing of why he struggled. You saw at Alabama during his time, he had a cannon. He could throw a ball downfield. He was accurate. He read the game beautifully, and it's just not translated in the NFL. I do wonder if the offense is holding him back a little bit, or if it's the other way around. Is he holding the offense back? Because we do run, like I say, a lot of RPOs, and they are basically you read one player and make the play. That's like me. We could do that, not well, but we could do it. I do wonder if the Dolphins are missing a trick there, and just sort of, let's see what we have with Tua. Let's put Tua in an offense, in an NFL pro offense, and let's see what he can do. So far, for me, he's not done well. Would I take Tua at the Seahawks? No, I wouldn't. I would much rather. And listen, this could sound ridiculous. I would rather see what we have in Drew Lock for this season, because this season Seattle will not be very good. We will be rubbish.
Drew Lock, we gonna unlock Drew. I like it. Unlock Drew. I'm not gonna come at your dome about what you said about you can't put in the same sentence that this is the worst line you've ever seen in your life, and then put Tua is disappointing. We can't. That doesn't go together, right? So
I'm not disappointed. I'm disappointed in what I've seen from Tua. I'm not disappointed in Tua. I think Tua's in a bad situation.
Okay, but yeah, I just feel like he needs a chance behind a real O line. But
we don't have a real O line, so.
Oh yeah. No. I forget you as a Seattle fan, but I do like the idea of unlocking Drew, bro. Drew Lock. Because of Kadeem, we didn't make it to the playoffs because he tried Drew Lock, and Drew Lock beat us, and we was one game short, and didn't make the playoffs thanks to Kadeem.
And also, what would it take for Tua to be traded? I mean, what would you accept for Tua right now? Would you accept a 5th rounder?
So I wouldn't even trade Tua because I believe in Tua, and I believe you got to put the team around Tua to perform. So to the fact that we've talked about the worst O-line ever, and his 2 receivers right now who are like outside of Waddle are Mac Hollins, who's a special teamer and who was a practice squad player not too long ago, and then Devontae Parker, who can't get on the field ever. So I can't say, you know what? I should put the C. John Mara comment about Daniel Jones here. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, we failed this kid and we never put anything around him. We got to see what we got with him. We got to give him a real chance. So that's where I'm at with Tua. And I feel like that's what we need to do.
The reason I say I wouldn't want sorry, Kadeem, just jump in real quick. The reason I said I wouldn't want to either because
this is the CNC machine, bro. It's me and you. We here. Bro.
I don't think Seattle would put Tua in a better situation. I think we've got a bad O-line. I think we all we want to do is run the ball, and on 3rd down we'll say, Russell Wilson, help us, bail us out, make a play on 3rd down. Tua, please make a play on 3rd down. It's not a QB friendly offense in Seattle. Neither is it in Miami. So I don't see why we would give up an asset to get Tua. I would rather just try Drew Lock personally. For now.
I think there's been a lot of wild statements on this episode. So we've had Mr. Charlie Touche is basically a UFC fighter right now. Like, just stop the podcast. And Mr. Charlie Wilson, what was it? You could play quarterback at some point, or
I think I could play. I could play in Miami's offense as quarterback. I wouldn't do well, but I would know what to do.
So for those who don't know, I guess no one knows outside of me and Charlie Touche, because I told him, you play grit ball, which is the UK version of American football. What position do you play?
I'm a middle linebacker.
So again, if you're not watching on YouTube, I would advise you do so. I am wearing a Zach Thomas jersey.
Hey,
super clean, by the way, super clean.
So it's the current throwback jersey, but I got Zach Thomas on it. As I said before, the reason Zach Thomas isn't in the Hall of Fame is because I have 2 of his jerseys, so I apologize for that. But we got a linebacker on the show. I thought I would wear the greatest linebacker in Dolphins history. But this linebacker also turned around and said that he can play quarterback for the Miami Dolphins. So not only has he said that Batman isn't a superhero, he's also said that he can play quarterback for the Miami Dolphins. Charlie Touche, I am so sorry for bringing this guy on the show.
Hey, I couldn't play it well. I said I couldn't play it.
No, do you know what? You have to love the confidence, and maybe that's a Charlie thing, because listen, as we've established on the show, Charlie Touche can write up Javon Holland and can fight a UFC fighter. You know what can't you do?
You know what? It might be a Charlie thing, because obviously we know Charlie is short for Charles. And if you look up the definition of Charles, it clearly says the man. That is what Charles means, the man. So maybe it's a confidence thing, like, yo, I just knew I'm that dude. You feel me? But I'm gonna tell you like this: if there are any other UFC fans out there or MMA fans that are also Go Time Dolphin fans, listen, we could do this right now. If there are MMA fans that are Go Time Dolphin fans, and y'all want to see me fight a UFC fighter, unranked, at my weight right now, to see if I could get 6 strikes off of him, let's find one, right? But if I get 6 strikes off of him, I gotta win something, bro. I gotta get like some cash for this, because I'm not putting my health at risk. But Kadeem, I'm telling you, bro, your boy nice with these hands, man. I got hands, bro. I got hands. I'm just saying.
Anyway, because I'm not entertaining that. One of the final quick questions from me to Charlie Wilson. As a linebacker yourself, and you're also a linebacker coach. What do you make of the Dolphins' current linebacker corps from what you've seen so far? And would you recommend taking any linebackers back end of the first or in the second round this year in the draft?
That there is a lot of talent at linebacker in the late first. This is sacrilegious of me to say, because I'm a linebacker and a linebacker coach. I think linebacker is the least valuable position in the NFL besides special teams. Linebackers come into the game nowadays and they are bullied, basically. They're too slow to guard receivers or tight ends. They're too small to take on blocks. It's very rare you see a linebacker come into a league now and do well off the jump. And Michael Parsons is probably one of the only one that's come in and gone and looked like an NFL-ready linebacker. The Dolphins linebackers, the only one I really have watched is Jerome Baker. And Jerome Baker is a bit like myself. Plays run all right. Coverage, not really there.
Sorry, when you said Jerome Baker is a bit like myself, I was like, I cannot wait to see how you end this thing. Because
listen, Jerome Baker, I'm not comparing myself to Jerome Baker.
No. You literally said Jerome Baker is a bit like myself, and you ran a what, 5.53, was it?
5.3.
Jerome Baker is rapid.
He's good.
So again, that's why I was like, you can't like. Okay.
Kadeem, that makes it worse. He's he's quick. He should be able to cover, and his footwork is all over the place. He doesn't read the game well. He's one of those guys where, so as a linebacker, you read in the guard's feet every time. If the guard comes forward, it's a run. You try to get to the line of scrimmage. Comes back, it's in pass pro. Jerome Baker, every play, it looks like he wants to blitz, and then when he realizes it's a pass, comes back and it's out of his zone, and there's a 15-yard completion. It happens quite a lot, and his PFF grade reflects that. It's like a 30 coverage grade. So he's a good player. He's not a player I would think, oh yeah, you're a linebacker for 10 years. But again, I wouldn't draft a linebacker in the first round. I would rather take one in the third and just see what you've got. I mean, there's a lot of players like that: Chad Moomer, Channing Tindall, Nakobe Dean. These are all players who you can draft in the second or third and feel good about. But in the first, not for me.
If Nakobe Dean makes it to 29,
he's the one.
There's they saying he may be like slow, short arms, right? Like, I think you got to take the chance. If you're sitting at 29 and Nakobe Dean makes it to 29, I think that's the route to go. I love David Bell. So I can't imagine the Dolphins draft a linebacker over a receiver. So it's just like former Miami Dolphins head coach Brian Flores said, you can't always get what you want. Hey, you know who sung that song, Charlie? You can't always get what you want. You know sing that song?
No idea.
All right. That's all we got, man. Hey, y'all boys from the across the pond, bro. Like I can't do this, man. Like I can't, y'all, I can't do it. Like I'm gonna end on a good note because this was a good podcast. But we're gonna go over the bonus time. Follow us the bonus time, Charlie. Hey, look, tell everybody where they can find you one more time, Charlie.
Yeah, so at Twitter, Charlie Reach PLC. On my work with Scunthorpe Seahawker, which I've done over the past few years. I think I've watched 340 players in the draft now, so I'm putting content out every day. We're going to do defensive tackles tomorrow. I've done edge rushes already. I'll go day by day, each position group. Hopefully, speak to some prospects as well. We'll see what happens on that front. And yeah, I'll be back here talking to you guys whenever you want any more draft takes.
Charlie, last name Wilson. We appreciate you coming on the show, man. Y'all know what time it is. Stay positive, test negative for Kadeem Simmons and Charlie Wilson. I'm Charlie Touche. Thank you for tuning in this time. Make sure you catch us next time on Go Time. Already.
Dolphins podcast that's for the fans and by the fans.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time.
2 things. One, Charlie Wilson. Did you get one of these from work?
Wow, no. What on earth?
I like, boy, you about to case
He's
yourself up.
flexing
I
on
knew
me.
it.
He's flexing on me.
I knew it.
Literally, so that I got like a water bottle, a phone charger, a pen. Okay. Sorry about that. And I've had a question for you guys.
What is that though, Kadeem?
No.
Is that wine?
It's water.
Oh,
It's just
it look like a wine bottle.
I thought it was wired as well.
See, come on, bro. Like, what's up, bro?
Just a water bottle. As I'm gonna ask Charlie Touche. You slightly messed up the outro there. You're gonna blame me for that as well, like you did last time.
How I messed up the outro?
Well, you kind of got my name wrong, but it is what it is. And then you kind of slipped on the Charlies because again, there's only to say for Charlie Touche, but you have to say Charlie Wilson. So it wasn't as smooth as normal. But no, like any little hiccup, you like to blame me for. So I want to make sure that this time you weren't going to blame me.
But see, last time you said I didn't maneuver through the pocket, and I made it through it. So now you're gonna get on me for maneuvering through the pocket. You know what I'm saying? So I don't understand, bro. What you want, bro?
No, I'm just making sure, the pocket wasn't clean, but you got it out, touchdown. Making sure that you weren't gonna, look at me and go, well, that's your fault. It's like, no, like. I'm just making sure.
CNC machine back in the business. Hey, we was talking about linebackers in late rounds. Mm-hmm. Charlie, how do you feel about Nephi Sewell? I don't know if you did any homework on him. He's Penei Sewell's younger brother. Nephi Sewell used to be a running back, and he broke his neck earlier on in life. And now he's a linebacker, actual linebacker, and he's coming out in the draft. He's as athletic as they come. Yep. And his story is just blue chip character over blue chip talent is what we say on the podcast. But how you feel about Nephi as a linebacker?
So he's one of those guys where you just watch football and it's like you're a good player. You just see him like he plays like his hair on fire. He plays like a running back at linebacker. He runs through people, takes on blocks, athletic. I think he's a bit undersized. I think he's a bit too small. He's a sort of a tweener where he's a bit of probably a safety, is a linebacker in a safety's body. For me, he won't be a starter or probably a backup, but he's got a future as a special team player, no doubt. He makes plays, flies around the field. I'd love to see him get drafted. There's a few guys like that, not good enough to probably play on defense, but on teams, they've got a future. He's one of them.
I call him a tweener 100%. You hit it on the head. Like, I would say spot on again, but I already said it earlier in the show, so that's the only thing I could really say in my UK accent.
You kind of mentioned safety there, and obviously we had friend of the podcast Javon Holland on here a couple of weeks ago. Still time to this is to the Go Time Dolphin listeners. Still time to get your questions and answers across for the signed Javon Holland cleats giveaway. But I want to pull up a tweet you had. That's the wrong thing. A tweet you had a couple of days ago, I think it was, or might be weeks ago. On a prospect in this class. Talk us through, like, this person is not going to be here when the Dolphins pick at 29. It's just impossible. But talk us through what you see in Carl Hamilton, and why you called him the best safety coming out of college that you've ever seen.
I think he's the best player in this draft. I think he's the only player who, for me, is a blue chip talent. I think he's a unicorn. He can cover. He shed blocks. He's got good hands, instincts. If you play this clip, if you go back to the start of his quick Kadeem, he's in a cover 2, right? His zone is in a deep third. His zone is on the far right safety there. His other safety comes down incorrectly. He sees a play, comes all the way across the field into his teammate's zone and makes a pick. It is absolutely absurd that he makes this play. That's just instincts, knowing football, speed, hands, it's everything, But that's a unicorn right there. That's Giannis Antetokounmpo. Like, players just shouldn't be like that, An absolute unicorn. If you watch him here, look at this. All the way across the field, that's not his zone at all. He just thinks, I'm going to make this play, and you're not. Beautiful. People are worried about his speed. He ran a 4.5. Look at his speed here. It shows up. He's a quick player. For me, best player in the draft.
I like it. I didn't even want to say nothing about that, man. Matter of fact, that's going to be a clip. We're going to clip that and throw it out there. That was perfect.
Yeah. It's been a draft season so fun. And I'm sure between Touche's 24 and what do you call like do you have like a list of players? So like, Charlie, explain what Touche's 24 is, and then I'll kind of finish my question.
So, really quick backstory. When I was growing up, me and my 3 brothers, we always had a game system, whether it was a Sega or a PlayStation 1 or a PlayStation 2, and it was always all of ours. So if you have 3 brothers and there's 4 boys total, everybody else has friends too. So I have my friends, my younger brother has his friends, my older brothers have their friends. So there's not enough time in the day for everybody to actually play the game, right? We can't play against each other. There's not enough time, right? So, and then there was no really multiple controllers way back in the day. You know what I'm saying? That became a thing when systems had multiple controllers. So what we used to do was all 4 of us would take ownership of a team, and we would be the GM and simulate through the season and only make transactions like free agents and draft our respective teams. So way back when I was a teenager, like what we call a JIT down here in Florida, when I was a JIT, all I did was wanted to be was a GM. So now growing up, I just never missed a draft. From like, I would watch the draft with my dad, watch the draft with my brother. All I did was watch the draft. When the draft was all kind of the whole day, basically. There was no day 1, day 2, day 3. It was the whole day. It was don't talk to us. We're watching the draft. You feel me? So Touche's 24 is basically 24 under the radar players, prospects that are coming out in the draft that are not necessarily first round picks, but you'll find them later on in the draft. And every year I come up with a Touche's 24 list since I've had this podcast. And some of the people that I've absolutely smacked on this Touche's 24 list. And it's also, somebody who's not getting talked about enough. Javon Holland wasn't getting talked about enough when he came out last year. He didn't play his last season. He waited for COVID and everything. Came in under the radar, got him. He was on my Touche's 24 list. Asante Samuel Jr., somebody else who didn't get enough representation. He was on my Touche's 24 list. And this is all last season. If we could go back to the 2020 season, who was on my Touche's 24 list in the 20 season? I hit some home runs on that list too. I can't remember off the top of my head. Let me think. I can't remember. You know who was on that list, Kadeem? Touche's 24. You know, I'll bring it up. But for you, Charlie.
Yep.
I think Kadeem asked you a question about like who, if you had a list of players that were under the radar that people aren't really talking about, that are not necessarily first round picks, who would you put on a list like, hey, you guys need to look out for this player because he can make a household name out of himself?
Okay, so there's one guy who comes to mind straight away, and he he won't get drafted, right? He's too small. Quantrez Knight from UCLA. This guy plays like literally, I know I've said it before, he plays like his hair's on fire. He's absolutely crazy. He's a DB, played 6 years at college, 6 years. Doesn't have one pick, right? Plays like he's 5'6", I think. Plays like he's 6'4". Runs into people, takes on blocks, hits people, makes plays. He's going to make the NFL a special team player and be really, really good, and he won't get drafted. Him for me, I was watching UCLA, I was watching someone else. Like, who the hell's this guy? Like, he was just flying off the screen. Players like that, you know, you're watching, you just really want to do well. You know they're not going to get drafted, but it's like, you know, whichever team picks him up as a free agent, you've got a player there. Quantrez Knight from UCLA is one to watch.
That's what's up.
So you got Touche's 24, and I'm thinking Wilson's wild cards. How does that sound?
Okay.
Check out the producer of the show. Check him out working. Finally, we finally get something out of this guy. Finally get something out. I put up my list. I had this is a pretty solid list, man. I kind of like my back. I'm just patting my back. But I had you pulling it up, Kadeem? Oh yeah. This is 2021.
Okay.
Touche's 24. I had Rondell Moore on there. Wasn't getting talked about enough. Richie was on there. Richie Grant wasn't talked about enough. Amon-Ra St. Brown, which is probably one of my favorite picks on this list. I had him on there. Asante Samuels Jr. I said it. Michael Carter III was on there. Or not the third. I'm sorry. Michael Carter. And probably the one I'm most proud of on this list is Trey Smith. 6th round pick. Starts for the Kansas City Chiefs and is a fixture in that O-line. Dwayne Eskridge plays for Seattle. He's going to show up now. Now that they have options, like they you know, Russ has his go-tos, but now you're going to have a quarterback come in and say, hey, I can't look at one guy no more. Dwayne Eskridge is going to show up over there in Seattle. But in 2020, here goes a couple players from that list that I put together. Darnay Holmes, Jeremy Chin, Antoine Whitfield Jr., Amik Robertson, Cam Dantzler. I love Cam Dantzler. Laviska Shenault Jr. Laviska showed up, and probably the cream of the crop of this list was probably Antonio Gibson.
Nice.
Running back. So
a lot of people had like Antonio Gibson as a straight wide receiver.
Right.
Like, no one really saw him as a running back.
I knew again, it's just like the Wendell Robinson conversation. He's a weapon. He's an offensive weapon, and you can put him at running back, you can put him at receiver, put him in the slot. And I also believe when Robinson can play outside, but with Antonio Gibson, I thought they were going to use him more as a receiver, but also use him as a running back, and they just used him exclusively as a running back. So look out for this year's Touche's 24, 2022 Touche's 24. And matter of fact, I'm gonna go ahead right now and say it's 2022. Because Tua is going to show up this year. Y'all already know Go Time Dolphins. Before I let you go, though, Charlie, bro, what you make of the Kobe versus Masvidal fight?
Oh, you know, it's a shame that his wrestling. It's a shame that Masvidal just can't wrestle. You know,
not even Kobe, a little bit.
Not even a little bit. It's like I'm worried. You know, I'm worried that these wrestlers are going to take over, and I personally don't find it boring. But a lot of people find wrestling boring to watch. It's going to get worse. These wrestlers are taking over. Colby dominated Masvidal. Dominated. Made it look easy.
Bro, listen. You seen what what's your boy name from Arkansas?
Oh, Bryce Mitchell?
Bryce Mitchell. Bro, listen, he's a wrestler. Look, the best lightweight of all time is a wrestler. You know what I'm saying? You got obviously Habib. You got Hamzat coming in. You know what I'm saying? Hamzat picking up men and just taking them to the cage. These like Leach is a legit fighter, bro. And Hamzat handled that dude. You know what I'm saying? So wrestling is where it's at. So for anyone who says, "Oh, wrestling's boring," well, if you get into a street fight, make sure you tell the dude that all you want to do is stand up, because that's not gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? It's mixed martial arts.
Do you guys remember Jamie Noble in WWE?
Of course I do.
He's the WWE dude.
Jamie Noble was a guy who, when new wrestlers when WWE wanted to show a new wrestler out, they always put him against Jamie Noble because he was really easy to beat. Like, he was this little guy, little shrimpy guy who looks like nothing, but he fights. Bryce Mitchell looks exactly like Jamie Noble, but he will beat you up. He will wrestle you. He will just he'll embarrass you. I love that. Like, he looks like a nobody. He looks like, what's this guy doing here? But he'll beat you up.
I like it. Hey, go time Dolphins. Go time MMA on the way.